Hello folks, after I'm done with the Great Indian Treasure was all about philosophy for self-development, all about philosophy of self-realization, all about philosophy of changing India, all about philosophy of changing world by realizing the Great Indian Treasure. It's all about philosophy. But I wanted to give something more. I wanted to share something more with the people, not just philosophy, but also philosophy with action. So that is what the Action Nation is all about. Friends, I want to share with you, how did this idea of Action Nation came? When did this bug of Action Nation came? When did this bug or germ of Action Nation came into my mind? I want to share with you that. And friends, it was my schooling days. So I was studying in a school named Stephens High School. The school was near to my home. It was walkable distance. When they used to ring the bell, we could hear that in our home, and we would run to the school to get to the school at the fastest. School was around 2 basketball court size, wherein 1 basketball court size. We used to pray there, we used to play, we used to fight, we used to do mischievous things in that place. And other half, there was a building, 2-story building that would accommodate 10 classes. I still miss my school. I had so many memories with my school. Coming to the school, the socio-economic condition of the people who are studying in the school was not that good, was not that sound. Students were from low-income groups, majority of them, they would study in that school. And some of my friends, they used to distribute newspapers, they used to distribute papers in the morning, they used to distribute milk packets in the morning, and some of my friends used to wash cars in the morning. My heart goes out to them. But however, they did it to support their family, to make their ends meet. They did their part for that. And one of my friends, after completion of school, he would run to the shop that his father would run. And there, his father was a cobbler, and my friend would stitch shoes, would stitch bags, would stitch chappals. So such amazing people were there in my class. And they were not only amazing in terms of responsibility, taking up on those tender shoulders, but they were exceptionally talented. One of my friends, I still remember how beautiful his handwriting was, how extraordinary his handwriting was. He could have become a great calligrapher had he been given opportunity. One of my friends, his gift of timing, his comic timing was impeccable. He would have become a great stand-up comedian had he been given opportunity, had he been given the confidence that was needed. In fact, I say that each and every individual got talent within them. It's just that we need to make sure that their confidence is kept intact, and they will blossom. So I still remember, it was 7th class. I was crying inconsolably, tears rolling down my cheeks. My friends surrounded me. They were trying to console me, but I was not giving in. I was crying. And you must be wondering why I was crying that time. You think that I fought with someone? No, I did not fight. You think that my sirs bet me? No, nobody did something to me. Somebody scolded me? No. I was crying because I flunked in an examination. Again, if you think that examination was that important, like it is quarterly, half-yearly or annual examination, no. It was silly assignment test. I failed, I flunked. And I was crying there inconsolably, my friends consoling me. So I failed in my mathematics examination. Mathematics, I was so pathetic. I was so horrible. I did not know that plus, if it goes to the other side, it will become minus. Such pathetic I was. And my parents got to know about this one. My parents put me into tuition. In the mornings, I would go to tuitions, and after that school, in the evenings, I would go to tuition. That too, in 7th class. In 7th class, I was going to 2 tuitions. This is Raghu. Eventually, because I was put into the tuitions, I picked up in mathematics and I started liking mathematics. My friends who were in need of such interventions, they did not get. They did not get from families, they did not get from anyone from outside. Indeed, they were also in need of such interventions, of tuitions, of helping them to help in the subjects. And 8th class I went to tuition, 9th class I went to tuition, 10th class I went to tuition. And then 10th class, people say that it's do or die, it's make or break, it's survive or perish, so that is called as 10th class. And this dichotomy is indeed true. And it sounded death knell to my friends, because majority of my friends flunked in 10th class examination. And only 3 people in my class got first division. I topped. You must be wondering, I got more than 95%. No, I did not get 95%. I got merely 69% and I topped in my class. And 2 of the girls who also got first division, they got 65, 66%, something like that. And 3 or 4 people also got second division, that is 50 to 60. And rest of the people, majority of them, they couldn't make it. They failed. They just failed in examination, but society branded them as failures in their life. They were ostracized, they were criticized, they were alienated, they were branded as failures. And the society systematically destroyed their confidence. The greatest sin in this world is to destroy confidence. And that is what the society did to them. There is blood in society's hand to systematically destroy confidence of millions and millions of people who couldn't pass examination. And then I went to a college, and there the people who came to that college, they got better socio-economic condition, and there I started asking people, hello, my name is Raghunandan. And they also introduced themselves, and then I got to know the percentages, and it blew my mind. Some people say that they got 80%, 85%. And then it was an eye-opener that I was also seeing the people who got more than 90%. Till then I was seeing them only in newspapers, but here I was looking them eye to eye in flesh and blood for the first time. And it was even more startling that I was looking at the people who got 95%, 97%. I never imagined that such aliens I can meet. Then I went to my engineering. My engineering, it was a different case altogether. I did not know why I was doing, what I was doing, how I was doing. But 4 years are done before I realized that what I should do. With my own hands, I did not execute a single piece of code in my life during my engineering days. And I passed my examination. If you are thinking that it is only me who is like that, you are mistaken. There are scores and scores of engineers, scores and scores of people who are in degrees, people who are in MBAs. They just go to the college, they just come out and they don't have any knowledge, and I was in the same way. And during that time, my friends were running away in search for greener pastures to USA, United States of America. That was in thing, that was buzzword at the time. And now it is Canada, that is a different thing. And they started going, they started applying, they started writing IELTS, etc. And I also wanted to do something. And people coming to me, a distant relative would come to me and ask, Raghu, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then I realized that I should do something. I should work somewhere. And I did not have any knowledge to work somewhere. And then I went to USA, United States of America. I learned some coding, C, C++, Java, Oracle. I learned some coding and I got into a job. And here, the moment of epiphany for me. What I did not learn in 4 years, I learned in 4 months. Yes, because I was in action. Action is education. I was in action. Action is education. So I worked with companies, corporate companies, top reputed corporate companies. And 5 years passed. And then again, I was really feeling that what I was doing at that place, it was not giving me the satisfaction. So I asked one question to me: am I replaceable? Yes, somebody can replace me at that place. So what am I doing there? So let me do something which is unique. During that time, I got inspiration to write a book, The Great Indian Treasure. And till then, I got good experience in writing examinations, but I never wrote a book. So I started writing book. I started doing some research how to write book. So I was in action and I pulled it off. Thanks to the Great Indian Treasure, I could meet India's finest scientist, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir. I spent some time with him to discuss about my book. Only because of I was in action, I could pull it off. Action is education. I launched it in Antarctica, I launched it in another continent, that's the secondary thing. But action made it possible. Action is education. It's a realization for me. So my book writing stint is done, and then I want to become a public speaker. So I enrolled in a course, and there it was the first day. My hands were shivering, my hands were cold, my hands were sweaty. I was perspiring all over my body. The ground is shaking on the stage. And people in front of me were seeming to be like demons who would devour me, and that was my situation there. And I pulled it off. People clapped at the end, though it was not perfect to start with, but I was in action. Eventually, I spoke in TEDx. I spoke in front of 5,000 people. I pulled it off. And again, after 6-7 years, I got an inspiration to get into coding, and I almost forgot my coding. And then I loaded software in my laptop. Then I started working on the idea that I want to implement, I want to give to you, and I pulled it off. Action is education. Action is education. I pulled it off. So after 7 years, I write the coding which was alien to me, and I pulled it off. So I'm coming up with this application called as Action Nation. The philosophy of Action Nation is simple. Action is education. Action for self-improvement, action for society improvement, action for world improvement. Simple. The philosophy is very simple. Action is education. And friends, we are building a nation of people who are in action, of people who really want to improve themselves, of people who really want to make this world a better place. And this is the place where they should be, Action Nation. So join this Action Nation movement and let us do actions to make this world a better place. And this is the philosophy of Action Nation, my dear friends. Action is education. Our action counts. Our action matters. And take action to be part of this Action Nation, so that with our action, we can make this world a better place. Thank you so much. More power to you. This is the story of Action Nation. Cheers.